Today in Granny's kitchen, on the hottest day of the year, we are going to make some treacle scones. Now for this recipe you need a pound of self-raising flour, a tablespoonful of sugar, 3 ounces of butter, 2 eggs, 2 tablespoons of treacle and approximately half a pint of milk. We'll reduce the milk slightly because there's treacle going in it. And we've also reduced the sugar because of the treacle. Okay, so first thing, just measure out 1 pound of flour, 450 grams, depending on if you're working in imperial or metric. Now this makes quite a good batch of scones. Putting that in there. And put that in my baking bowl. And with the flour, we're going to add about 3 ounces of butter, which is about 85 grams. And of course, a pinch of salt. With the thumb and 4 fingers, just make that into very fine breadcrumbs. You may have seen my other recipes for cheese scones and for plain scones, but someone made a request for treacle scones. It is exactly the same process. Okay, as you can see, that's roughly like fine breadcrumbs now. And to this, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of sugar. You can omit the sugar altogether, but I just put in just roughly 1 tablespoon. And then we're going to put in 2 tablespoons of treacle. It's a bit more difficult to measure treacle, but I shall try. In fact, I think what I'll do is I'll put the treacle in with the egg mixture. So I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of treacle into my jug. And I think I'll beat it in with the eggs and the milk. The recipe is actually on the Facebook page. It's all ready to go. Just download it from the files area. Right, so into this I'm going to add my 2 eggs. And just up to about half a pint of milk. I may not need all of this mixture, but I'll see what it's like. Do that. I'll leave the milk out just in case. Okay, I'll just get a fork. So the eggs, the treacle and the milk, I'm just going to beat together. Now the scones are quite an unusual colour when you're making treacle scones, but they are delicious. So I'm going to put a little of this mixture in just now, and I'm just mixing this up. As I say, I may not need it all to make into the dough. I'll just try that, see how that's going. And again, all this treacle at the bottom. Just mix that in. I may need to add a little extra milk. Now, my great granny always used to bake just with her hand. Would you believe it's the easiest way for scones? Right, that mixture's just about right with the half pint of milk. Let me just take some of that there. Try and mix in that treacle really well. You can see what I mean with the colour of the mixture. Make sure you get all the flour in because you don't want those dried patches of flour at the bottom. I'm just going to lightly flour a baking tray. Just a little dusting of flour on the baking tray. Right, so on my floured board, I'm just going to bring out my mixture. Just got a bit more flour. Try not to overwork the mixture because it then isn't as light. So basically I'm just going to get that into a kind of pliable mixture there. Pat it out nicely. And then I'll cut out the scones. I've already got the oven heating at 205. I think that's on the recipe that you can download from the files area of the Facebook group. So having it on at 205 is really useful because when you open the door, put in your tray, you lose a little bit of that heat. I think I've used most of it. So basically just tap the top of each with your egg mixture before they go in the oven. This gives a little glaze to the top of your treacle scones. Okay, so they won't be oversweet because we have reduced the sugar as well. So that's them ready. I'm going to pop them in the top of the oven and leave for 15 minutes. Let's turn that down to 200 for 15 minutes. The scones are ready, and I'm just going to put them onto a wire rack to cool. And these will be ready to eat as soon as they've cooled. And normally I keep a couple out and just put the rest in the freezer.